Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of The Best and Worst of Walt Disney World. I'm your host, Pete Werner, joined at the table this week by my good friends, Mr. Sean Falk.
Hi.
Mr. Charles Boda.
Hello.
Mr. Steve Porter.
Hello.
And back in the production nook, but not on camera, our associate producer, Mr. Rhino Clavin, who we just try not to put him on camera if we can help it. But also in the studio right now is Abby. So if you hear her clicking around, and my mother is actually sitting right over there. She's not on camera. That was a prerequisite of her sitting down today. Or maybe that's my mother making all that clicking noise. I don't know. But anyway, all right. So today's episode, this was Sean's idea. The worst keepsakes / souvenirs you can get at Walt Disney World. Now, when he first pitched this, I was like, oh, are they really like worst keepsakes? And then as we started brainstorming, I'm like, oh my, there are in fact really bad things you can waste your money on. But I'm interested to see like what the discussion is and what you guys think. Of course, you can leave comments underneath this video on YouTube or send us an email, podcast@disunplugged.com. Tell us your thoughts, but this is in no particular order. One of the first ones that was discussed were the balloons. Mm-hmm. That, you know, they're not cheap to buy. And why balloons?
I mean, to me, it's the worst thing you can buy, or whatever. It's the balloon within a balloon, and then now they light up as well. So it's even more obnoxious to have. It's a lot of money to spend. The people who have them, they hold them up during the fireworks. I mean, because they don't they have nothing to do.
For that very reason, you should be allowed to bring like a pea shooter, right, and like take those balloons out.
Oh, yeah, God, for sure. So they will hold them up during the fireworks and all that, which they don't have a choice because now they have it and it floats, so they can't do anything with it. But it blocks everyone else's view. It lights up, so it's obnoxious if you're going to take it to like Fantasmic or whatever else. When you're going home, I don't know what people would do with it in the car.
You can't bring them on planes. Yeah. You can't bring them on other attractions.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the thing is, it's not really a keepsake. It's a child distractor that you use in the parks, I assume is why most people get it. Or sometimes I'd assume that people use them to mark strollers. Like, oh, we'll put 2 balloons in our stroller, and then we'll know where our stroller is. But if a bunch of people do that, the point becomes moot, you know? So...
Also, working in Tomorrowland, one of the positions they have to do is strollers, and a lot of people will leave, like you said, will leave those balloons on their strollers, and they're gone by the time they get back because someone comes along.
Free balloon.
They say free balloon. And like you were saying, you can't bring them on the ride, so they don't have an alternative. They kind of have to leave them there. So you end up losing the money, and even if you make it throughout the whole day, then at the end of the day, you can't walk home with it, really. Right. Or I guess you could if you live close, but I don't know.
What do people do if they have no stroller? Like if they don't have a stroller and they want to ride rides and have a balloon?
You're tethered to that thing, literally.
Do they have like a balloon child swap type thing or something? Like I don't know.
A couple times when outside of. Interestingly enough, it always happened at Monsters, Laugh Floor, and Carousel Progress for me when this happened. And I would just say, hey, I'll take your balloon, and I would wrap it around like a banister near where I was working and then give it back to them when they were done. But
I'm surprised I don't actually see more of them released into the air, you know?
Well, they have those weights on the bottom.
Yeah, that's true. Although the one good thing about them is when you see a sad, partially deflated balloon, that's my favorite.
I also think it's obnoxious, too, when people are walking really quickly through the parks with the balloon and not really paying attention to what they're doing with it. And meanwhile, their balloon is, like, hitting a bunch of people in the head or, like, it's like...
Oh, yeah, no, I've gotten clocked by the balloons more than once. All right, so moving on from balloons, I forgot, I think, Steve, you were the one who mentioned this, the year merchandise. So, you know, Walt Disney World 2018 shirts and things like that. Why year merchandise? Why does that make the list for you?
I just think there's so much creative merchandise out there, and they are, you know, they have their heart poured into them by the designers of these merchandise. But I think that the year merchandise in particular is just never very good. It's very basic and plain, and I feel like if you're gonna walk home or fly home or drive home or whatever with it, you know, a souvenir that you're gonna remember and want to have as a keepsake, you want something that's unique and creative and exciting. and I just feel like that's completely deflated in the year merchandise. I will say, with the exception, 2018 is kind of the first year that I've actually been optimistic, because the Discover the Magic line is actually kind of has some cool things. But every year before that, I bought them before back, when I would vacation back in the day. So I'm guilty of getting them, but I think that there's so many better things you can spend your money on.
I'm kind of two minds on this because, like, when I would come down here on vacation, I wanted to memorialize that. So having a shirt or something that said, Walt Disney World or whatever, 1998, that. It is. So I was, from that standpoint. From the other standpoint, we were talking about this too. It kind of fits into, I didn't add it to the list, but I'll kind of piggyback it on this. Just generally buying T-shirts at Disney World. They're impulse purchases for me. And as Sean rolled his eyes, go, really, Pete, doing impulse purchases? And my closet is full of these shirts that I never wear. I am going to tell you right now, there are homeless people all around Orlando wearing Space Mountain shirts and stuff because I keep giving them a charity. I keep giving them to Goodwill, or Mom works at a thrift shop for her church, and I'll donate clothes there. Which once I get done clearing out that kitchen, I'm just bringing it all down to them. But so for me, it's like a waste of money because maybe for a week or two after the vacation, you wear it. You're like, oh yeah, it was great. But then after that, once the glow wears off, so to speak, it's like I'm not wearing that.
I will say the year thing I'm not that into, just because, especially with the shirts and everything, and I hate it when somebody brings me a gift back, like when I didn't go on the trip and it has the year on it. That's even worse for me.
This is the year I didn't go here.
Yeah, the year I didn't get to go on the trip. But for me, the only one that I would say it is worth it to get the year would be Christmas ornaments. Only because this year was the first year I decorated a Christmas tree on my own and all that, and it was so nice getting to look back through a few ornaments that I had, and it said what year that was, and I was like, oh, I remembered the trip to different things anyway, but I'm like, oh, that I was this age because it was this year.
I think Christmas ornaments are the exception.
Right.
For that very reason. I mean, because now I'm working with about, 20 plus years worth of Christmas ornaments, and when they have that year on them and stuff, and especially the Disney stuff, I'm like, oh, I remember that.
Right.
So year merchandise. What do you think, Charles?
I think that one of the reasons they make it, Disney capitalizes on a lot of like collectors and everything. So there are people who go every year, and it doesn't matter whether the logo is good or whether the design is good. They want that thing from every year, so they can sit there and be like, these, I've gone 15 years in a row, and you can tell if you look at my glassware or something like that, But with that in mind, if they put a little more effort to do it individually per year. So here are the 2017 designs, and they had, I don't know, Art Nouveau influences or whatever. Just something different for each year instead of just pretty much stating the year on it.
Well, that's what you're saying for this year. The what was it? Discover the Magic.
Discover the Magic, yeah. And it is a little bit more creative, and I think that hopefully going forward, that's where they're going with this, because it's sad when you have to pick between what you guys are saying, that it's a great way to remember your trip and a great way to remember the year you went. Because I think that is a great thing. I just think that they just know that there's going to be people that buy that merchandise regardless, like Charles is saying. So they're, all right, well, we know that we're going to get them, so let's not waste too much time designing these shirts, because who cares? They're going to buy them anyways. And that's kind of sad.
All right, number 3 on our list here are glow sticks and the stuff they sell on the carts, during parade, before a parade or Fantasmic, the Buzz Lightyear that lights up and spins around. Why that?
Oh, God. Well, for one, you could get that same thing around here much cheaper at a Walgreens or whatever for the, as far as the spinning stuff goes and everything. But even then, I hate going to Fantasmic, the lights go down, and you're ready to watch, and then the person in front of you holds up their spinning Elsa with her dress twirling and the green lights coming off of it for the entire thing, and you're just like, dang it. Like, it's all dark and I want to be able to see the show and I can't because now there's this glowing spinning thing in front of me that the kid's playing with. And besides that, I have no problem with them, but I think it's a huge waste of money, personally.
Yeah, for me, it's the same thing. It's just a huge waste of money, and the fact that your kid's going to be happy with a glow stick from the dollar store, most likely. They just want something that's lit up in the, when it's dark in the Magic Kingdom. They don't need a $20 light up Buzz Lightyear.
So do bubble machines fall into this?
On the bubble machine. I do. Okay, bubble machines are still a complete waste of money, but I enjoy the fact that when other people buy the bubble machines, like, they're very generous with their bubbles. Like, they don't keep it to the. They literally will, like,
that's the part I don't like.
I like the bubbles.
I don't like being assaulted by bubbles. Yeah. And it is the bubble assault, especially if you're walking behind a kid that's in a stroller and has one of these things. It's like carpet bombing. I mean, it's just like.
Okay, I'm gonna play devil's advocate and say I think the bubble wands are awesome because those kids love them and they're obviously not for us. And yes, it can be frustrating that you have to walk.
No, I want to get one. I want to get one, and the next time a kid does it, I'll go right up to the kid's face and.
Yeah, but you don't realize the kid's gonna go, whoa! Like, he's gonna love that.
Not the way I do it.
Well, that's the thing though, is with a bunch of stuff on this list, I guess, with the balloons as well, it's like a child distractor. It's not necessarily to have the memorable keepsake. It's because, like, okay, give them this, and maybe they will chill out and stop crying or stop bothering us for a couple seconds. Like, when it comes to the glowy stuff, I'm an angry old man without kids. So, like, when it comes to, like, I see why they like it, but I hate any distractions, especially in dark stuff. Like if it's at nighttime and there's, like a show or parade or anything like that, I don't want to feel like there should be house music playing and an impromptu rave is going to start or anything like that. I don't even like in movie theaters when people are reading a text on their cell phone because that little distraction box annoys me. So like the glowy stuff and the bubbles are good for the kids and for the parents because they don't have to pay attention to them. To me, they're incredibly annoying though. Admittedly though, I have a heart of stone, so I don't see the joy in it.
I forgot who came up with this one. Pressed pennies.
That was mine. It actually was because I loved the pressed pennies when I was a kid, and now looking back on them, last time I was home, they did not hold up well over time at all. But they also, you really have to like get the exact right penny because it's got to be a really new shiny penny, or else it's gonna like smear. And if you don't put it in the right way in the machine, you'll still see like the Lincoln profile, Lincoln's house or whatever.
Lincoln's face melting off.
So they'll still have that like smeared across and everything. So, and at the end of the day, and so it kind of makes it hard to read what's going on. I get why people do it because I did it when I was a kid, and I did that in lieu of doing the autographs because we didn't want to wait in line for the different things. So it was like, then they used to have them for like tons of characters. Now it's more so like lands, I guess, or like specific rides. But I get why people do it. I just don't think it's a good keepsake necessarily.
I don't know. I understand what you're saying, but I think that for families that are going on a budget, 51 cents for a souvenir is about the cheapest thing you're going to get at Walt Disney World.
And especially since they're located all around property, for a lot of people, for a lot of kids, it's like, a treasure hunt, like going to find the next pressed penny.
Well, and a lot of kids go into these gift shops and they want to get every little thing, and the parents can say, no, but we're doing. Remember, and distract them by, let's go do the pressed penny, and quickly they forget about the $20 plush that they wanted because we get to go get the penny.
Okay. What do you think, Charles?
I think it would be better if they actually charged you for it was their own form of currency. Like you had to press the penny, and then somewhere later on you could redeem that penny or certain pennies for a different keepsake that you got to take home. But they won't do it.
They don't like any of your
They don't
ideas.
listen to any of my ideas.
All right, and finally, and I think this is the one that's going to get people upset, although I'm inclined to agree with it, Mickey ears. They have absolutely no use once you leave the park. I mean, maybe you're going to walk around with them on, but then people are going to talk bad things about you. Go ahead, Charles.
Johnny Heart of Stone over here feels weird being the one who's getting the back of the Mickey ears, but keepsakes aren't about later use. It's all a waste of money if you don't attach memories to it. So Mickey ears and getting Mickey ears and getting them embroidered or getting certain styles or collecting them, that is Disney right there. That isn't like you can put it on a shelf if you want. Maybe you'll put it in a box and you'll find it in an attic 20 years from now. But that's Disney. Those are those Mickey ears.
For me, it comes down to two different people with the Mickey ears. If you are a diehard Disney fan and you come to the Disney parks with your family year after year and you have your favorite whatever, then I think that you can display those Mickey ears on a shelf and your friends and family probably know you're a Disney freak anyways, so they expect that from you. But if you're Joe Schmo who comes to Disney once or twice in your life, Disney ears are kind of a waste because you're not going to do any, like you said, you're not going to do anything with them once you get home. So I think it just comes down to who you are with the Mickey ears.
What do you think, Sean?
I mean, for me, it's not necessarily that I find them uncomfortable. Like, they're not physically comfortable to wear, but they're also designed for people with smaller heads. So I don't think they're a bad keepsake necessarily. I just think they're not, like, compared to other things you could buy and other things you could get in the park, you could get something that's both useful later and a memory as well. And they are very expensive for what they are.
That's for me. It's like, for me looking at this list, it's about what really is going to end up in the garbage. Mm-hmm. That you're only going to buy it in an impulse in the moment. And then when you get home or shortly thereafter, it's either going to break or you're going to ask yourself, what was I thinking? Or it's just going to end up being thrown out. So like the balloons, the glow sticks, to a certain degree, the pressed pennies. But I think with the Mickey ears, it might be a little bit different in that, no, you're probably not going to wear them again, or at least not outside the house. Maybe you will. I think this is also a little different for women than men. Women do have the cooler, the Mickey ears, the headbands that are done in a lot of different styles that can be matched with a lot of outfits. And I think women can get away with that more than, if you're going to work, if you're a guy and you're going to work and you've got your Mickey Mouse hat on, chances are strong you're going to be spoken about.
Right, yeah.
And not in a flattering way. But I don't know. I think, I don't know. The Mickey ears, I'm definitely on the fence with. I can see it on both sides.
I think with the Mickey ears, it's one of those things where, a lot of the stuff that we talk about that we mention isn't great. It's lacking uniqueness, or you can get it somewhere else. And it's not only not usable once you get out, but it's also not so special to Disney. Glow sticks, whatever, balloons, whatever. That's not a big deal. Mickey ears are so specific to Disney, and so there are a lot of memories attached, and that's why you get a keepsake. That's why you get memorable collections, is because you attach like physical or like emotional feeling to it. So I buy, and I've mentioned this before, I buy swords on Pirates of the Caribbean. I'm not a kid anymore. I don't go out and I don't go out and sword fight people. I don't break them in 3 days and then have to go back and buy new ones. But I buy a sword when I'm on there because it reminds me of Pirates of the Caribbean, which is one of my favorite all-time rides that I enjoy as an adult and I enjoyed as a child. I can't use it. I don't show it off to people. I keep it hidden from other people, so if they visit me, they're not like, what's with the plastic sword, bro? But I love it because it reminds me of that. People with the Mickey ears, it's one of those ones where you can have this deep emotional attachment, whether you've been a billion times or whether you've only been one time, because that is Disney, those ears. And I think I don't own my own Mickey ears, that being said. But once again, plastic swords, who am I to judge?
And I think that's where the pushback is going to live on this list when we start getting comments that this is about just the emotional attachment to, seeing my child's face light up when I hand him or her a balloon, or, having that T-shirt from, 2000 when I was here for the Millennium, and, the same with the glow sticks and the pressed pennies. So I understand there are different views to this. I think I'm looking at it from the standpoint of, there are probably better places to spend your money, that you can have that emotional attachment and also have something that's, I don't know, a little less, what's the word I'm looking for? Not perishable, but
pedestrian.
No, not pedestrian. We're not doing the dining reviews.
The dining show.
Disposable, that's the word. Thank you, Rhino. A little less disposable. So, you can look at it from that standpoint. But there you have it, our list of the worst keepsakes and souvenirs you can get at Walt Disney World. That will do it for this episode of the Best and Worst of Walt Disney World. We hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you again next week. Have a great week, everyone.